Okay, let's go live. James Smitty speaking, trainingsites.io. I'm going to ask an AI tool called Manus, which is a general AI agent, to create a course on another AI tool, Google's NotebookLM. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, because I can, is the first thing. But secondly, I want to use it as an example of how we can use what I'm calling vibe courses, or the ability to create a course basically by giving a single prompt or maybe a single task request and have, in my case, 3 things done. Here's what I actually did. As I said, you know what, Manus, I want you to, first of all, go do a whole bunch of research on NotebookLM, which is one of the AI tools. And I said, go do tons of research. And then I said, create a course for beginners on how to use Manus.lm. And I want it to cover these 7 lessons. So I said, do the research, create the course, and then finally I said, you know what? I want you to create a website and actually deploy the content on the website so it can be delivered to the people who want to take that course. Now you're probably going, why would you ever want to do that? Well, think of it this way. I have, for example, in trainingsites.io, which is my campus here, my AI learning community, I have all of these courses. I create them as quickly as I possibly can. And I use a lot of AI tools for bits and pieces of them. But there's some courses that I want to have the information available in an organized fashion, but I don't either have time to do the research, or I have done the research and have the documentation that I would have used. So I have that, and then maybe I don't have time to actually create the content, to consolidate or to organize things and to be able to capture it in a way that I want by doing it lesson by lesson, maybe with an AI tool. And then finally, what would it be, if it was just sitting there? I need to have a way to deliver it. So I gave a task to Manus.im that does those 3 things: do the research, create the content, and deploy it. And that's exactly what I did. So here's kind of the process that we went through. I'm going to go through the best that I can through this. And just remember, anytime you create content for courses, anything that's educational, I'm showing you how to do it with an AI tool today. I'm expecting, or I'm hoping, that you will be very specific about the instructions that you give it in terms of the content you want created. And then hopefully you're not just going to cut and paste the content. You're going to verify it, enhance, edit, do whatever you need to do to make it your own in your own voice. Having said that, there are cases where maybe you're using a piece of software on how to use Word or how to use Google Docs, where it doesn't necessarily have to be your own. You just want to be able to create content to teach people about a particular process that you use in your business or an application of a piece of software. This means you don't have to buy courses on how to use Notebook. We can actually just create one in about an hour, which is what I did here. So this is how I did it. This is what we got. And again, I'll put all the links below so that you have access to it. And again, trainingsites.io/join there. Yeah, that's my campus. Everything's free there. Everything inside. The courses, the groups. We have live events every Wednesday at 1. So there's a whole bunch of great information there. I'd love to have you inside. And this is for people who want to start, build, and grow an education business, and especially using and leveraging AI to do that. So big picture, this is what I did. I'm going to go to Manus, and I'll open this up for you. And just to be aware, Manus.im, and I'll put the links below. This is a brand new general AI agent. So it's basically going to do those 3 things I talked about: research, content, deploy. That's what I'm asking it to do. But it's basically like having a digital assistant, right? It's like, bam, there you go. Here's what I want done. Go get it done. Uh, when you sign up, you still have to sign up for it. And there is a waiting list, or there was when I did that about 4 or 5 days ago. You get 3 tasks to start off with. I got 3 tasks. The 2 of them I did some videos on. I'll put the links to those ones below. Basically, I asked too much to get done, and it stalled. But I did one here, this new one today, and I'll show you what I did and what we actually got. So this is the big picture for what I was asking. And I'll just go to the start here, and we'll make it a little bit bigger so that you can see it. But basically, and again, I said, create a beginner-friendly Notebook LM course with 7 comprehensive lessons and designing an engaging HTML website with a course sales page and a home page. And then I gave the structure of what I wanted. And then I said, you know what? I want 1,500 to 2,000 words with clear explanations for beginners. And then I said, here's what I want for the actual website. And I gave my brand colors and my brand fonts that were there. And I just said, here's what I want in the lessons. Learning objectives, engaging introduction, step-by-step instructions with call-out boxes, and basically put this together. So here's the first thing to recognize. Obviously, the better the task that you give, the more specific, the better the result is. Second, I didn't write this. I just went to Claude and said, hey, I'm going to give a task to Manus and I want to do this. Can you give me some instructions? And basically I pasted them in and updated them a little bit. So there's kind of the first tip is whenever you're using this stuff, don't be afraid to use one tool to be able to create prompts for another tool. That's what I do all the time, and I find it works really, really well, especially when your requests change all the time and the tool that you're using changes. So I basically went and gave it that task, and what it did is it actually went and did all of the work. Now, for me, the cool thing is when you're using Manus, right now, if you look on my page, it's got on the left-hand side is kind of the task I was asking. On the right-hand side, this is, traditionally where we put a little, we put our chat in the bottom where my mouse is moving, and then it gets responses. The other thing that happens is the way Manus works is there's a little icon here and it says it's basically the terminal. The way that this one works is Manus has its own computer, its own browser window, and we've got our basic task window right here, right? So here's the stuff that's going on. So this is basically us asking for stuff and Manus responding as to what it's doing. And then this is what it's doing in the background, all of this other information here. So basically what it did is I started to ask this, and this are the things that it went to. It looked at my response and it said, hey, I'm going to help you create NotebookLM course with 7 lessons. And then it took a look at some of the information that I had put in the 2 other previous ones. And then it said, researching notebook features and functions. Okay, so it did that task. And it started researching. So it did this stuff here, made a notebook, researched functions. It did a to-do list, did more research about it, functionality through search results. So it basically did all of the research that it needed to do in order to create the course. And then it was browsing the web. You can see it was actually looking at the web here, looking at it, going to it, scrolling down, researching features and functionalities by going to the official website and other resources. And all of this stuff was happening over in its browser's Manus browser working in the background. And it went through and it took maybe an hour to do that. And on each of these ones, you can see where there's a little compass here where I'm moving my mouse. It just tells me if I click on these ones, this is actually what it was due. There's, it was on the Google website right there. This one was actually official Google blog post going through. So it did a lot of research basically to go through that. And it said there, I finished the research. What's next? Now I'm going to create the course. It went through and created the courses individually. And you can see that the files, here's the understanding of the lesson, and it's basically the introduction. It's writing out each of the individual lessons. And then finally what happens is it went down a little bit further and it said, I'm going to design the website. And it's following the instructions, and this exactly is exactly what it did. Now, in a future one, what I'm going to do is, remember, I have my website here, right? I have the training sites website. What I want to do in the future is just say, hey, you created a course, go publish it to this site. And it would be able to log in, and I've seen the demo of this, but I haven't tried it yet. It'd be able to log into the WordPress site, go and create a brand new course with the content that it created and put it up. But in my case, I wasn't quite there yet, and I wanted to see if I could get it to make a website. So basically what I did is I said, you know what? Wouldn't it be great if we created a website? And in fact, that's what I did. So it created a website. I'll see if we can go to the home page here. And look what happened. We've got this home page here, and it's got The font is the font style that I use, Comfort AA. It wrote all of the content here. This isn't me. The sales page was done here. The course overview, it's actually got a placeholder for graphics. Explore the lessons, which goes down to here. And then it's got an info grid with a place for the image and then what's in each of the lessons. And actually, if you click it, it'll go and open up one of the lessons. And there we go to the lessons. So this actually created the complete course and the website. Now, I was looking at this and you can see there's info boxes. We've got the layouts of stuff that's here, key points. We've got tips, takeaway points where the sources are with links to the sources, notes, indicators, chat interface. So basically there, everything is set out. Now, I was looking at this and I noticed that across the top, if you see, it's got lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And if you take a look, you'll see there's a little green bar here. Again, one of the font colors that I have. But as I change it, it lets you know whereabouts you're about here, right? So I was looking at this and I was going, hey, that's really good. That's cool. The content's there. Maybe I need to change it. Maybe I don't. But I've got a fully deployed website and course content done, and it took about an hour for Manus to actually create that based on the research that it did and the instructions that I asked. But I was looking at it and said, well, it's kind of silly to have lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3 across the top there. Wouldn't it be good if I had a dashboard and an FAQ page and some additional pieces there? So that's exactly what I did. I just went back here and remember when I said that they created the course lessons in the page and stuff? This was available or made available as a download. So if I actually wanted to go and download this HTML for it, it would all be here and all of the files will be here. So I have all of that particular material. So I've got it there and I'm going, man, it's not really what I want. Maybe I should change it around a little bit. So what I did is I said, you know what? Let me get to the right spot here. There we go. I just basically said, you know what? I want to have a dashboard. There's the actual course files there. I said, I want to go and here's the other thing. View all files in the task. Watch what happens. It opens up. There's all of the files that it's actually created. So at any point, I can see what's in them and actually preview them, locate them in the chat or download them. And there's links, code files, documents, everything that's been created is here and available for us. But in my case, it's like I'm going to deploy it and it put it all together, created a website. I basically said open and that's what we looked at. Now, one of the things was I didn't like that lesson 1, lesson 2 stuff. So I said, you know what? What I would really like is I would like you to change the menus around a little bit. And I said, I want to have the header menu updated to consolidate the lessons. I want an FAQ page and link in the header menu. One contact us page with a basic form that sends an email to whatever. So it basically went and did the work again on the same particular page. So what I came up with this time is, hopefully I can get this one here. There we go. So if I go to this page, you can see that it's redone the site. And now we've got a dashboard that was created. And again, this looks very, very similar to LearnDash, which is the LMS. I didn't code any of this. I didn't create any of this. I got a zip file. So if I had a hosting account somewhere, I could basically just go and paste or unzip that package in the hosting account, and this website would be up and ready to go. Now, here's another cool part. Remember I said I wanted an FAQ? Click FAQ. I've got an FAQ. Again, none of the content. I did none of the content on this. About the course, about NotebookLM, enrollment and access, support and questions. All of this was done for me. Again, very, very cool. So it's got, how is this course different from free tutorials, depth of content, exercises? It put all of this stuff in. How is it structured? What are the lessons? Do I need experience? What is it about? What will I learn? We've even got a contact page and the page that I asked for and the form that is already built in. So very, very cool. Look at this. The content, if I look at any of the original material here, this is like super detailed and it would be more than enough to get started if you wanted to learn about how to use NotebookLM. This is a phenomenal tool. It's only going to get better. This has only been out a week. Now I'm going to run some additional tests. I only get to use one task a day now after I finally got that kind of sweet spot. And the limitation on it is not, I don't think, the limitation on the software. The limitation is on the resources that are available. Because so many people are using it, they have what's called a context window. And basically, the more complex task you give it, the sooner it runs into the limit in the context window. And that's what happened in the first couple that I did. I basically gave them huge tasks and they never finished. This one actually got finished. Research, content creation, deployment, it was all done. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, great, but there's more to courses, right, than basically creating content. How am I going to market it? Well, it's funny that you ask, because when I was doing this and I got this site finished, I went, you know what? That's great. Wouldn't it be great if I had some marketing material to actually go and do it? And I said, well, I better ask, right? So this is what I did. I'm just going to go scroll down here a little bit so you can see it. I opened up and I had some room on the browser left. There we go. Yeah, I said in this one, provide me with the following marketing materials to promote the new course. 10 email launch sequence, 5 follow-up engagement emails, and 20 social media posts across the platforms. So I could have included this in the first actual request, but I chunked it into 2 different ones, and let's take a look and see what happened. So it goes and does that. It does a whole bunch of updates on Notebook and the course that it's created, so it has the text, or it has reference or context to what it's actually created, and it's put it all together, making good progress, going across the pages, it's continuing through all the different lessons, and then it's getting ready to create the material. So it actually read through the website it created so they can actually create the content for us. So what's happened is Manus has completed all the marketing materials that I've requested for promoting the Notebook course, and it created a 10 email launch sequence, and it shows the different ones that are there. We've also got 5 follow-up engagement emails, 20 social media posts for Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And again, we've got that new fully formatted course page that I just showed you. So it says, is there anything you want specific? And I'm going, no, I don't want to. Just show me the emails and stuff that you have. So let's take a look and see what we came up with. And there's our emails on the right-hand side now. So I'll see if I can make this a bit bigger for you so you see it. But welcome to Notebook Mastery. Here's how to get started. The preview text, we've got first name, the login URLs, all of the materials there for each of the lessons. Everything is done for me. If I want to go up and take a look, for example, on this one, where's the one? Follow-up emails. There they are here. So there's the email launch sequence. There's the social media posts. All of them are here. Hashtags, things like that. So this is pretty cool. We've got a course, marketing materials, sales pages, all done for us. And the thing obviously I recognize is the courses doesn't have any graphics. I didn't ask it for graphics. Big reason is when I did ask it for graphics in those 2 other tries that I had, I asked it to create the text to give to Kling, I think it was, or VO 2.0, which is the tool from Google. So I could use text and create either a graphic or a video. I basically asked Manus, I said, write the text that I can give to another AI tool. So that's when it timed out, I think, creating all that extra stuff. So, basically I could have done as another prompt and said, hey, I want to add an image here, or can you go to napkin.ai, which is another AI tool, and can you use that tool to create a graphic based on the key talking points in a lesson? And if you haven't seen napkin.ai, for example, that is an absolutely awesome free tool that you basically take some text and it will create an infographic or a diagram that relates to whatever is in the text. So I could have asked it to do that. I didn't do it. I recognize there aren't images in this particular case. I did one other thing here, and I just want to show it to you just to show you what happened until I did run out of context window. Is, you know what? I said, I want to have some additional material here on this. I want to be able to have some other messaging or other information that other YouTube videos have, and I want you to basically give me a PDF that I can have as a handout with it. So I created another prompt and I said, research the 3 most viewed and commented how-to or introduction to notebook YouTube videos for beginners and create a professionally formatted PDF document summarizing each document. And it went through it. Actually, I had written down 10 and it went to 10, even though I did 3 here. I also had mentioned 10, so it actually went through 10. And it basically, for each video, I got a title, creator name, link, publication date, view count, brief synopsis, 150 words, takeaways, specific next steps, and then it had all the PDF documents. Now, the reason I'm showing this to you is, remember, this is just like having a browser, right? And in this case, it actually went out and it looked at 10 of the most popular YouTube videos that were about NotebookLM for beginners. Does the research, and it actually has who it was from, who the title is from, what the title is, and it's then creating all of the content that was there. And it basically did up these reports, and as it was starting to make the PDF, that's when it actually stalled and stopped working. Now, you're probably asking, why did you ask it to go do something on YouTube and then create content? In my case, I asked for a PDF. Well, here's the important thing. Not importance to know. Here's the one that's stunning. I asked it to basically do a report on someone else's YouTube videos. The first one I said is create a course on NotebookLM based on the NotebookLM documentation. In this particular case, I could have easily said, go and research the top 15 YouTube videos or the most popular YouTube videos on this topic, or this author, or this piece of software, or this playlist. I could have gone to, say, to go to Reddit or Quora and do a search on things. This is exactly the same as having that digital assistant that is going to do all of this work for you. And to be able to put together courses and then be able to put them into a format that looks professional, that's something that people can go, holy crap, that's the same brand. That's the sales materials there. The emails are there. All of it is done for you. This is going to change everything again for all of us who are in the education space. And what I'm going to do next time is I'm actually going to see if we can publish it to a website, a WordPress site in this case. I'll publish it to my own site and we'll see what we actually come up with. Start thinking about, how can I do this? What content can I create that's appropriate for what I'm trying to teach people? And then the other thing, and this is what I've been kind of harping on and where I'm focusing on as much as I can over the next little while, is that I think the real value for us as course creators and content creators is not the creation of content, other than the fact that we have to come up with good ideas for content, but really it's more about, how can I start creating courses that can supplement live content that I'm creating or live teaching. And I think that's where the real value is. And that's why on trainingsites.io, we have live classes every day. And the reason we do that is because people have unique situations, unique questions, and personalized, they want personalized guidance or mentorship on how to apply all of these great content ideas. So if you haven't already, make sure to go to Manus. Well, make sure to join trainingsites.io/join and like and subscribe to this channel as well. But go to Manus, put your name on the list. If not, get in. You get 3 tasks to start off with. And what I always recommend is, if you're going to start doing this, get Claude or ChatGPT or one of the other prompts, or Gemini, to create the task and the description of the task that you're going to give Manus. That's the best place to start. And again, it's been my experience that if you do too much, you try and hit the home run right away, you're not going to get the end of the task. And that's because of the restrictions that Manus has on, based with all of the demand that's for this particular site and this general AI agent. So my name is James. Hope you enjoyed it. There's lots more of these. I do them every day. Trainingsites.io. Take care and expect the best. We'll be back tomorrow with another great video to help you start, build, and grow your education business.